August 10th, 2017. Today is a Thursday. I'm walking my dog. I need to stop waking up late because I move in 8 days, and that's going to be a constant schedule of waking up at like 7. So, I gotta start getting up earlier.
The vlog is uploading and I still haven't picked a thumbnail, which I need to do, like, soon. I ran into!
Hey, gorgeous!
You look so pretty in your work clothes!
Thanks.
Okay, so I wasn't gonna film this until later this week, but I decided to do it now and upload it as you're seeing this. I also already filmed it and then realized I didn't use my microphone, so I'm doing it again with my microphone. So the first thing that I want to go over as far as what I'm reflecting on myself for my first year of college is how much have I changed. And I feel like a lot of people use their first year of college to reinvent themselves or to really shine through who they are and really show off who they are. And I don't feel like I can totally relate to that because there's been one year in my life where I was trying to fit in and trying to kind of be like everybody else, and that was in 6th grade. And since 7th grade, I've pretty much been who I am. Like, the only difference is through middle school, I was kind of like finding who I am. So like, I did change a bit, and I have changed like since high school, or well, I changed through high school, but I was always like true to myself. I don't feel like I've changed as a person much while in college yet. Maybe I probably still will. But that being said, oh, can you see this little crimp in my hair? You see that? Now that I've drawn attention to it, let's continue. I have learned a lot about myself throughout this first year. Like, one thing, I'm a lot more introverted than I realized. Like, I am more of an extroverted person for sure, but I have more of an introverted side than I thought I did. Like, if I'm not around people enough, like if I go a long length of time without quality social interaction, I will feel like sad and lonely. But I've also realized that like I also crave time to myself. Like, I need my own time to like recharge and be by myself. And I didn't really realize that until I was living in a dorm with somebody else. Another thing that I feel like I'm still learning and kind of going through is realizing how much failure you have to endure before you are successful. I got rejected from so many more things than I ever thought I would. I don't take rejection very well, to be honest, so the amount of rejection I got, and especially I got rejected from things that I was like, I thought I was a shoo-in for. Like, I was like, I have this in the bag, and I got rejected. And I've seen a lot of reflection videos where people said like, they get rejected more than they thought they would. So I guess that's normal. And really the important lesson that I'm trying to like teach myself through this is that don't let that stop you, or me, from putting yourself out there more. Like, something will accept you, I feel like the more you put yourself out there, the more you're gonna get accepted. So I feel like I've been trying to not let my rejection and the failure hold me back from actually trying to get into other things too. So that's what I'm currently working on and learning. Another question that is kind of important for any freshman to ask themselves is, did you make the right choice in going to the school that you went to? I think I did. Towson was the only school I applied to. It was the only school I really wanted to that had my major at least. And the only other school that I was even considering was West Virginia University. And that was my pretty much backup school. If I didn't get into Towson, which there's really no reason I wouldn't have gotten into Towson, but if I didn't, I was going to go to WVU. And I didn't want to. I wanted to go somewhere else. WVU also doesn't have my major, so I would have had to transfer at some point or change my major, which would suck. I will have to say though that WVU probably would not have been as bad for me as I thought it would be. Like, all of my friends went there, and they all really like it, and I've seen their Snapchats, and I'm like, yeah, that actually does look pretty fun, and it looks cool. The school does look pretty, and I would have to say West Virginia is just a prettier state than Maryland, and I don't think I appreciated that until I went to Maryland. Their band had such cool opportunities, like they did the Macy's Day Parade, and I think they went to Disney, like all expense paid, I'm pretty sure. I think one difference, I feel like if I had gone to WVU, I would have marched clarinet, because I don't really like their color guard's choreography as much, and that's like nothing against anyone, that's just like my personal preference. I like Towson's choreography better. But like in their defense, they do multiple shows a season while we only do one, so that's kind of why we have the opportunity to do tougher choreography. The other thing, all of my friends went to WVU, so they're all together, and like I had to go off by myself to a different college, and that's normal. A lot of people go to a college that like they don't have anyone else there, so like that's not abnormal. People do that. But I see Snapchats and I talk to them, and like they're all together and like hanging out like they all used to, and I'm kind of just by myself, and like it's a little weird. Overall, Towson was a better school for me. I feel like I have learned more about people. I feel like I got what I wanted from it that I wouldn't have got from WVU. I wanted to go to a different state. I wanted to leave West Virginia for a little bit. And I feel like Maryland is a more diverse state, and I feel like I have learned so much more about people than I would have at WVU. Now, I can't prove that because I never went to WVU. So that could be, I could have learned more there, or maybe even the same, but this is all I know. Another thing that I think would be fun to reflect on is like your freshman adventures. Like everyone has these crazy spontaneous things they do their freshman year in college, and like I had my fair share of like funny stories. I can't share them all, I guess, but I'll share some of them. This isn't really funny, but like one of the first things I did sort of like as an adult was me and my roommate went on a road trip to Busch Gardens, and that was like my first thing without adults, and like drove 4 hours to get there and 4 hours back, and like spent a week there, paid for it all ourselves. Like it was fun. Halloween is such a big thing in college. I don't think I knew that. Like it's not even Halloween, it's like Halloween. Like all week is Halloween, and it was such a big deal, and like I thought, like I had a lot of fun. I didn't end up doing what I said I was going to do. I did a lot of different things that night. I was dressed up as a pirate. Roshan was a cat, I believe. I think she had a few costumes, and then Carrie, I think she wanted to be like, what's her name? The Queen of Hearts. But her costume ended up just kind of being an assortment of costume pieces. I'm sure I'll have a picture here of how we were dressed. Actually, I think the only picture I have of, oh, this is gonna sound bad. The only picture I think I have of like the three of us on Halloween was when I was wearing Carrie's bra. I can't believe I'm talking about this. She's much more bustier than I am, so I was wearing her bra, and you can see the difference. But yeah, we kind of all ran around. I know I had dinner with Kevin and James that night. Also, can we just like take a moment to realize how hilarious it is that their names are Kevin and James? Like Kevin James. They never found that as funny as I did. And then I ended up running into another friend of mine. His name is Nate. He's been in a couple vlogs, but he like doesn't like the camera on him, so you may not even know it's him. He was doing a scavenger hunt that they do at Towson. It was like a vampire versus werewolf scavenger hunt that they do. And I think I ran into him when they were done, and then we ended up just kind of taking a walk around campus. And so I think we walked around until it was about 1:30. And then I think I met up with Carrie and Roshan after that, and we hung out. There was just a lot of changing going on that night. Another funny thing another adventure that we had was Valentine's Day. We wanted to celebrate, me, Karen, Roshan, we're all single, and we wanted to like celebrate together, and we couldn't agree on what to do. Well, actually we did. We were gonna go see 50 Shades Darker, but it had sold out by the time we were gonna go. So we were trying to decide what we wanted to do. We couldn't agree on a place to eat. There was something going on campus that we were considering, but I didn't really want to stay on campus. And basically we spent a long time deciding what to do, and at the end of it we decided to go bowling, and we walked there, and I think it was like possibly 3 or 4 miles, and we walked there, and we got there and we bowled, and there's this really funny clip of me falling. I wanted to do that thing, you know how professional bowlers, like they go up and they like slide their foot behind them, like I really wanted to like look professional, so I got clips of all of us doing it, and when I did it I literally fell. And we got food, and we ended up Ubering back because it was late and it was cold, and I think this was on a Monday, so we had class the next day. This one's a bit harder to reflect on, but it is equally as important as anything else. Something that's important is realizing the mistakes that you made this year and how you can improve on yourself in the future. So I think the first major mistake that I made for myself that I really want to improve on this year is I was not eating very healthy. I hate to say this, but I actually kind of find it difficult to eat healthy on campus. And that is just kind of a personal thing, like being a vegetarian. I'm also going vegan, but last year I was a vegetarian and I'm a very picky eater. So I found it hard to eat healthy. And and also, I feel like the fruits and vegetables on campus are just not fresh. I think that's I think most colleges are like that, like they're just not very fresh looking. So like even if you eat a fruit, I don't feel much healthier from eating a fruit because it doesn't look that good. And also, this is actually weird, this is like an unpopular thing about me, but I am much more of a vegetable person than a fruit person. Like I will eat a ton of vegetables and like 1 or 2 fruits. But at least at Towson, there are more fruits available than vegetables. So I felt like that was a little bit rougher for me to eat healthier. But either way, that's something I want to change this year. Another thing is I was never on top of understanding or what was going on with like loans and financial aid. Like I just don't understand how a lot of that works. And it nearly bit me in the butt a lot of times. Like so much could have gone wrong. And it's so important that I stay on top of it, or at least make a better attempt to stay on top of it. So fortunately, my mom has been working much closer with me on it, and we're working together to try to make sure that nothing bad happens and that everything is done on time and that we know when things are going to happen. So not to sound cheesy, but I totally believe that like her and I working together and like with her help, I think this year is going to be much better as far as financial aid and stuff goes. Another mistake I made, I don't want to do any kind of name dropping, so I'm not going to mention a name, but I know anybody who is involved in this is going to know exactly who I'm talking about. But the first semester, I spent way too much time in one of my friend's dorms, and it was mostly because he didn't want to do anything outside of his dorm, and so we were all kind of like, well, if he won't come to us, we'll just have to go to him. And it was mostly me because he lived next to me, so I just was always in his room, and not name dropping, the other people did not live next to him. So like sometimes they would come over to hang out with me and him, or just stuff like that. But actually, in between the semesters, like so over winter break, I was like, I don't want to do that anymore because I felt like we missed out on so much because we were just in his room all the time. So I was like, he can decide not to come out with us if he wants, but I'm gonna go out and do stuff. And so that's pretty much what happened. Like he didn't come out with us very much. We just didn't see him as much this semester. Like we did our own thing and he did his own thing, and I don't regret it at all. I think like I wish I hadn't spent so much time in his room last semester because I felt like I missed out on a lot of things because of it. So don't fall into a trap. The last big mistake that I think I made was also during the fall semester. I feel like in color guard, I let myself get pushed to the back. And like, again, that's no one's fault because I let it happen. It's a little bit hard to feel secure, I guess, in the color guard because, and it's a personal thing, like it's nothing anyone else has done. But I don't come from a very good color guard program, and a lot of these people did, and they're so amazing. And I felt like I just didn't match up to anybody. And so at the beginning, I was always trying to be in the front and make sure I was getting noticed, and then I started to feel like everyone was better than me and I shouldn't have been in the front. So I started moving back a little bit, and I feel like that's just not me. It's not like me to go to the back and accept that. So, I mean, this year I'm going to try to put myself in the front more, even like if I feel uncomfortable, and just try so much harder than I did last year. So after talking about your failures, you should talk about your successes. So I think probably the one that stands out in my head the most about a successful thing that I did was I made Dean's List both semesters, which at first I didn't care about. Like I came into college being like, as long as I pass, I don't really care about my grades. I'm not going to do graduate school because my major does not require any kind of like graduate school stuff. So I was like, I don't really care so much what my grades are as long as I'm passing, and it's like enough to do band and sports and, well, not sports, but like band and clubs and stuff. So that was all I was really trying for. And then that first semester, I made Dean's List, and I was like, okay. So now that it's kind of like I set the bar. Like, now that I have set the bar at Dean's List, I feel like I have to continue to do that. And I did the next semester, and I'm pretty sure I will again. Like, so that was probably the biggest success that like stood out to me. Another big one is and this one actually happened over this summer, but I applied in May, so it kind of counts as last year. But I got the student ambassador position, which was a huge thing, because like I talked about earlier, how I felt like I was rejected from so many things. This was a yes that I got. This was like a success that I had. So it was exciting. And another big one was getting into TU Chorale. To be honest, I don't think I didn't know much about the choir when I auditioned. I actually thought it was the kind of choir that everybody gets into, which is really sad. And I went to the audition, and it was so difficult. And I talked to some of the people who were in it, and like they had been training their whole lives. Some of them were music majors and they didn't get in. And I was like, I was like, whatever, I didn't get in. Like, how could I have gotten in when like music majors didn't get in, and like I didn't take it as seriously as I should have. And then I got in. I got into the choir. It's mostly made up of people who are vocal music majors and people who have been taking vocal lessons since they were 5. And like I got into that without trying as hard as I should have. So that was a huge success to me. That was kind of a moment where I realized that I'm a better singer than I am at playing instruments. I play a lot of instruments, and I have been singing longer than playing instruments, but I feel like playing instruments has been put into the forefront of everything. Like, people identify me more as a band kid than a singer, which is understandable because I also kind of do that. But getting into the choir kind of made me realize that I am a better singer than I am at playing instruments. Another big success is I went to the gym a lot, like a lot. More so second semester, but I did kind of go sporadically fall semester, but spring semester I went to the gym a lot. So there's not much of a story to that, but that's a success.
So I ended up having to split this video into 2 parts, which I was not planning to do. And also this video is going up later than any of my other vlogs have been. So I'm gonna end this quickly so that I can finish editing it and get it uploaded.
So until tomorrow, remember to inspire others, do good things, and be happy.